Hey, what's up, guys? Quick rant video. And just wanted to give you a heads up. The next door neighbor is doing some drilling. They're drilling through concrete and stuff next door. So hopefully you don't hear that in the mic. Hopefully you just hear me. But anyway, so yesterday, Ring Magazine, we celebrated our 100-year anniversary to the day. And this was a very historic achievement. I posted a tweet about it because, I mean, why would you not want to share this? This is wonderful news, right? And I posted our original issue, and you can see the date on there, February 15, 1922. So it's been literally 100 years. That's pretty amazing. It's a hell of a milestone and an accomplishment, and no other boxing publication can boast that, right? Ring Magazine has been around longer than any of the sanctioning organizations in their modern form. I mean, you think about that, and there's a million other things I can bring up, but it's pretty important. It's pretty substantial. And obviously I'm very proud to be associated with the Ring. I've been contributing for years. But of course, when I tweet this, most people were positive in their responses and saying, happy birthday, that's awesome, things like that, what most people would say. But of course, there had to be haters, because you can't have anything in this life without having some haters. So I wanted to share some of these tweets real quick. So this guy here says, not anymore. No one reads magazines these days. The Ring magazine died a long time ago. That old gag, right? People still going with that one. That's a narrative. I don't know. Listen, a lot of people still read the magazine because a lot of you guys message me every month telling me about articles and stuff and how much you enjoyed them and all that good stuff. So I know people still read the magazine, obviously, and I know our distribution, both in the United States and outside, and we're doing pretty good. And then, of course, there's this narrative here, because I say that we're the best boxing periodical in the world, of course, and I genuinely believe that, and I believe that before I was ever involved at Ring. That's why it was such a goal of mine to get here. But then this person says, before Oscar got his hands on it. Now, this is something I wanted to address, and I could go and show you all kinds of different tweets, and we had back and forths with several. It wasn't just me. It was Doug Fisher, Coweta Duran, Tom Gray. Several of us had some back and forths with some of these detractors. And instead of showing you guys all that, I'm not going to go there. I just wanted to address some of these narratives that continue to go around without any, just 5 minutes of research, 5 minutes of looking into something, because it's not that difficult to just. Oh, sorry. You good? Oh, okay. It's not that difficult to. Sorry, guys. My wife came in here and she was just she's just passing through. It's not that difficult to do research, to go to the site and see our ratings process. We post it there for you all to see. And we post Ring ratings updates where we break down the changes we've made, why we've made them. We even show you quotes from the conversations and the back and forths that we have on the panel. And a lot of times we get in heated debates about this stuff, okay? Instead of asking questions, instead of coming to the source of the ratings and saying, hey, how do you guys get there? Or asking, who pays your check? Who pays your salary? Is Oscar cutting you a check? Does it say Oscar de la Hoya on it or Golden Boy Promotions on it? By the way, it doesn't. Nobody asks those questions. Nobody does any research. Nobody looks into it. They just continue to forward narratives that have been given to them by people with agendas. And there are certain segments of boxing fans and the boxing universe that have it out for Ring Magazine because of our association with Golden Boy Promotions / Oscar de la Hoya. So I wanted to make a few things clear here as I go into this. Real quick, I wanted to show a tweet from Tom Gray because we were going back and forth. Tom posted here, 12-man team on the male ratings panel, and the decisions appear on the regular ratings update, which I'll show you guys in a second. And he says, I wish every organization was that transparent, but don't let the facts get in the way of a silly narrative. And then I respond to that, and I asked him, point blank, I already know the answer, but I asked Tom point blank, there are literally 0 Golden Boy employees on the Ring Ratings Committee, correct? And he says, correct. And the people on the panel who contribute free of charge would expose any wrongdoing in a flash. So why do I mention that? Because I think it's important and it's relevant. A lot of you guys don't know, but if you are a fighter who wants to get ranked with any of the sanctioning organizations, you have to pay sanctioning dues. So just to get ranked, you have to pay sanctioning dues. When it comes to the belts, fighting for championships, these guys are paying tons of money for these belts and these titles. There are sanctioning fees included. Sometimes the fees are substantial, depending on the fight, the belt at stake, which organization, et cetera, et cetera. At Ring Magazine, we do this for free. And in fact, it's part of why our process is better, I feel, than everybody else's, just about everybody else's. There are a couple out there that I think do a good job and are right up there with ours. But I think you can put our ratings up against anybody and they hold up. But I'm paid by Ring Magazine to do my podcast, to cover, deadline reporting and different types of writing and stuff that I do. Yes. By the website and the magazine, right? And then I've even been paid to contribute to Golden Boy promotional items and features. But that money came directly from Golden Boy because it was part of a Golden Boy promotion. But me contributing to the Ring Ratings panel, which I started doing years ago, long before I wrote my first article for Ring Magazine, never been paid. None of us are paid to do that. We do it just volunteering our time because we're passionate about the sport and passionate about doing real ratings that are unbiased and have no political agenda behind them. Okay. So first of all, the fighters are not paying to be ranked. They're not paying for their championship belts. We give those to them. That's all free. And none of us are being paid to do the ratings. Now, if we were being paid every time I contributed to the ratings, then you can see how there might be a conflict of interest or things like that happening. But the panel, and there's men's ratings and women's ratings. I'm on both panels. And I've been on the women's panel since its inception. I was part of its inception. And I'm proud to say that I was on the first ballot for the Women's Hall of Fame category in the International Boxing Hall of Fame, and I vote every year on it. Okay, I was part of that process. So you guys can see that I support women's boxing, and so does the Ring. And we had female ratings before several other platforms even thought about doing it. All right. So we don't charge any fighters for this. We don't get paid for doing it. We do it because we love the sport. We want to put out good ratings. I think that's important. That's something that a lot of people don't realize. Also, I want to make this very, very clear. I should have stated this up front. Golden Boy Promotions is a promotional company that has a dedicated staff. The Ring Magazine /ringtv.com is a boxing media publication that has a dedicated staff. They are two completely separate entities. The Golden Boy Promotion staff does not interfere with us. We don't interfere with their promotional business. We are two completely different entities. I only deal with people at Ring. When I want to interview a Golden Boy fighter, then there are times where I deal with Golden Boy staff. Okay. That's really the only time. Other than that, day to day, week to week, I don't talk to anybody at Golden Boy. I can state for the record, okay, that I have never, ever in my entire time with Ring been told, Mike, you can't talk about that. Mike, you can't write about that. Hey, Mike, can you change this sentence? Hey, can you delete that paragraph? No, we're not going there, Mike. Never. When Canelo Alvarez, and by the way, that includes my podcast, because I talk about some controversial things. I'm willing to go there and talk. Sometimes politics are part of the story, and there are parallels between the boxing universe and other universes, and I go there. I've never, ever been censored. But I think it's important. There's one specific story I want to bring up. When Canelo Alvarez was with Golden Boy Promotion still, and he was Golden Boy's biggest fighter, right? He was the guy that kept Golden Boy Promotions in the black every year, right? Didn't matter what happened with any other fighter. Canelo's 2 fights a year, boom, Golden Boy was solid. He was their key attraction, the most profitable fighter they've ever had, right? You guys remember the clenbuterol thing. I think this goes back to what, 2017, 2018, maybe it's 2018. When Canelo Alvarez tested positive for clenbuterol, there was 2 different samples collected by VADA, blah, blah, blah. You guys know all this, right? He was subsequently suspended by the Nevada Commission. I wrote a feature piece on this called Red Herring. It was my first piece for the actual magazine. I had contributed to the site before then, but this was my first piece for the actual magazine. And I wrote a very detailed account of exactly what happened. I talked to maybe a dozen different people to put that piece together. I put my heart and soul into it because it was my first piece in the magazine. And the entire piece was talking about Canelo Alvarez being caught with performance-enhancing drugs. Clenbuterol was deemed a performance-enhancing drug at the time in his system, and the fallout and everything else, right? At no point was I told to edit that piece. At no point was I told, Mike, could you go this way with it? You're going a little too far that direction. Can we change directions? Not once. I submitted my rough draft directly to Doug Fisher, and there was, they corrected a few typos or whatever, and then they posted it. By the way, they put it in the magazine. By the way, I have every rough draft I send Word docs. I have every rough draft of every article I've ever sent to the magazine or the website, and not just with Ring, but other publications I've worked for as well. So I could check. I can go back, and I do. I look back and I see what kind of edits were made. Nothing has ever been edited since my time with Ring Magazine. Nothing. And I have friends that work at virtually every boxing media publication that exists. I'll just mention one real quick, okay? ESPN. I have friends who have contributed works there and still do work with ESPN, and they've told me about 2/3 of their article, 2/3 of their article being completely taken out because they didn't like the narrative. ESPN's owned by Disney, right? And there's an agenda and a narrative over there that they're trying to push. They're not interested in doing real boxing news. So I know several guys that have told me all kinds of stories and shared all kinds of things and sent me and showed me their rough draft and what got posted to the ESPN site. And I can see where complete paragraphs were just removed. They didn't even tell the person. They just removed it before they posted it because they didn't like where it was going, because it was a little too hard hitting and a little too honest. Okay. And that happens over virtually every publication, not all, but virtually all of them. Never happened to me. Not once since I've been with Ring, not once. And I've contributed hundreds of pieces now. If you include my podcast and the weekly recap and everything that's posted to the website, I have contributed hundreds of pieces to Ring's site and Ring's magazine. Never once have I been edited or silenced or censored or anything, okay? Back to the Canelo Alvarez thing, because I think this is really relevant, and a lot of people don't know this. Some of you guys who follow me, you already know this story, but when I was on the Ring Ratings panel, I was on a panel at the time when Canelo Alvarez, the whole clenbuterol thing happened, and I was adamant that he should be stripped because at that time he was seen, I believe, I can't remember where. I think maybe we had him number 1 at middleweight, because this was before the rematch with Golovkin. So I think Golovkin was our champ. Don't quote me on this, guys. I'm just going off the top of my head. I think Canelo was number 1. And I was adamant that we needed to remove him. I also want to say Canelo was in the pound-for-pound ratings at the time. We need to remove him. And most of the people on the panel agreed with me. There were a couple people. I want to say Mike Coppinger, who briefly contributed to the Ring. It was only for like a year, maybe. He was one of the guys that did not want to strip Canelo. And his reasoning was, well, Canelo and Golovkin are going to fight again. I want that to be for the Ring Magazine belt. So he didn't want to strip him, which I thought made no sense. But everybody else on the panel said, yeah, he should be stripped. Now, when we moved to strip him, there was a particular person at Golden Boy staff. I'm not going to name names. No, it wasn't Oscar. It was somebody else that got into it with Doug Fisher. Okay. And I'm not going to give details or anything like that. But I know I'll just say this much. Doug was put under pressure to reconsider this. It's the only time I've ever heard of something like this since I've been involved with Ring. Because again, this is involving Canelo Alvarez, or like, hey, maybe we should put out a statement why we're doing this or whatever. And Doug held firm and said, no, the ratings committee made this decision. I support their decision. And he went to bat for us as the editor of Ring Magazine. And ultimately, we stripped Canelo Alvarez, and he had to earn his rating back. Okay, and he ultimately, of course, became the middleweight champion and then our super middleweight champion. But how many other publications? Again, I'll go back to ESPN. Have they ever mentioned that Tyson Fury did steroids? Have they ever mentioned that? It's as if that never happened. If you look at some of the ratings, and they're not the only ones, I'm not trying to beat up on ESPN, okay? But obviously they are working directly with Top Rank. They have an exclusive deal, ESPN and Top Rank. And if you look at their ratings, there are some things sometimes that make me scratch my head. And some of the reporting and some of the dialogue and verbiage that are used during their boxing broadcasts by some people, not all, because there's several people that work at ESPN that I really, really like. They're really awesome people, the ESPN boxing crew. But again, there's several other places I could point to, okay? I challenge you guys at Ring. And I should mention this. There are times where there is crossover, okay, between the Ring staff and the Golden Boy staff. When Golden Boy puts on club shows, and they were doing this for a while, that were streamed on ringtv.com. Yes, that's you're streaming a Golden Boy Promotions card on ringtv.com, and that's boom, right? I mean, that's definitely crossover where we're working together. And there are times where there are Golden Boy Promotions fight promotions where they seek out writers and stuff for a fight program or something, where they're going to at least ask Ring TV staff first and say, hey, do you guys want this? And I've been asked. I want to show something. You guys who follow me, you know this. I just still have a copy of this one. I've done several things like this, but look, this is the fight program for Canelo versus Rocky Fielding, right? Okay, so you don't see anything involving the Ring magazine on this program. On the back, let me make sure I get this right. You will see that's Madison Square Garden. I know it's kind of blurry. Sorry, guys. That's Madison Square Garden's logo, DAZN, Matchroom Boxing, Canelo's promotional company, and Golden Boy. Because that's who did this promotion. That's who put up the money. That's who did the promotion. Nothing about the Ring magazine. So in this particular case, yes, I was working directly for Golden Boy. I was contributing to their fight program. Now, I've done stuff like this for other public or other promoters and platforms, and it's not the first time I've done it, nor the last. I just happen to have I keep that one. I just have this one with my magazines and stuff. But let me show you this. Here's the latest issue of The Ring. Now, if you look at this, you will not see anything involving Golden Boy Promotions on here, right? It's just The Ring. Well, this is an ad here on the back. KO tickets, by the way, best in the business. But I just want to show you guys when you open this up, okay, and you go to these are the feature articles in here, right? Oh, there's a feature article by Michael Montero. We have, let's see, the Stuff of Dreams. If we could have 17 wishes, these are the fight cards we want to see in 2022. That's the cover story, right? Which I contributed to. There is a Golden Boy fighter on there. Oh, Ryan Garcia, one. And of course, who wouldn't want to see him and Gervonta Davis fight? Everyone wants to see that. But so that story involves one Golden Boy fighter, one out of 34 fighters. The next story, Sugar Ray Leonard, greatest hits. That's not a Golden Boy fighter. The rebirth of Crunk. That's my piece. That has nothing to do with Golden Boy, obviously. Stepping up. 13 women recall the first time they entered the ring as a pro. Not a Golden Boy feature. And then old school mythical matchup, Harry Grant versus Stanley Ketchel. Obviously, not a Golden Boy feature. So when you go into Ring Magazine, our opening shot, are those Golden Boy fighters? Huh? Are those Golden Boy fighters? Let's continue. I could go through this whole damn magazine here. We have some fans writing into the show, or writing into the magazine. We got an article about Holyfield Bo, Frank Martin, round one fighter, our fighter of the month, Frank Martin. And I can continue. I can keep on going. You guys get the point. The notion that we are a Golden Boy shill publication is completely false. And again, I would say if you compare what we do on our site, I talked about our ratings and how our system is the most transparent, right? Let me go to, I want to show you guys well, first of all, let me do this. Let me show you. I want to show you guys our lightweight ratings, because who's the biggest star right now in Golden Boy Promotions? I guess you'd say Ryan Garcia, right? Ryan Garcia's got to be up there. Well, here, let me find this. Okay. Here is our lightweight ratings. If we were a completely biased publication, we'd have Ryan Garcia #1 or something. Look at these lightweight ratings and you tell me where we're wrong. Now, I remember Teddy Atlas went on a rant on his podcast because we didn't have Gervonta Davis on our pound for pound list. Teddy was just doing what he does, being bombastic and trying to get clicks. He's trying to build a business over there with his podcast. He's trying to get paid. So he beat up on Ring Magazine because we didn't have Gervonta Davis on our pound for pound list. But we have him #4 at 135, rated above Ryan Garcia, right? And then we have, you guys see the rest of the ratings here. I wanted to pull this up specifically just to show you how ridiculous it is, the notion that we're somehow being biased or somehow bought and paid for. It's not as if Oscar's knocking on the door saying, hey, could you guys beef up Ryan Garcia's rating because, we're trying to promote him as the next big thing. And then also, I want to show you guys this, the Ring ratings update. No other publication does this, at least not the way we do it. Doug Fisher posted this January 27th, okay? This is the last one we did. And what he'll do is he'll kind of give a brief description of what changes were made, why we did it, and then he gets into the conversation we had. He mentioned here a quote from Anson Wainwright, then Adam Abramovitz, a quote from him, Tom Gray, a quote from him. Hey, there's that Montero guy again. And it shows how we're kind of arguing, because these guys really wanted to rate Magsayo real high. I wanted a lower rating. I advocated for a lower rating. Or I'm sorry, Gary Russell. Or no, yeah, Magsayo and Russell, I think. Diego Maria is on here. I mean, I can keep going here. Martin Malaki, everybody's on here. Daisuke Sagura is on here, right? So we show the conversation and we have the paper trail of that conversation. And we show it to you guys so everything's transparent. And then, of course, on our website, we show you our actual ratings process and our rules and how all that works. Let me see here. I can pull that up. Yeah, let me do this real quick. Let me go ahead and show this just so you guys can see. There's an ad playing here at the bottom of the page, but right there, Ring Ratings Championship Policy, right? It states everything. Here you go. So what more do you want? What more do you want? This narrative never dies. And by the way, I'll answer any damn questions you guys have. You got questions for me? You want to know how we get this or get that? Cool. Bring it on. But for people to just repeat a narrative that they've been told without ever questioning it, without ever thinking, why would somebody say this? Is there an agenda behind it? It's pretty, we put everything out there very transparently. I just thought that it was time that I got on here and talked about this a little bit. Now, I know I've talked about this before, but I wanted to maybe give a little additional insight for you guys. And for those of you just finding my channel, maybe this information helped you a little bit, gave you a little more insight into this whole thing. So again, any questions, bring it to me. This Friday on my channel, we'll do the Friday wrap up. Monday, we will do TNC back on the Rings channel. All right. Other than that, guys, enjoy the rest of your week. Peace.